Happy Monday, guys. Good
Happy Monday.
morning.
Happy Monday.
Welcome to FYI. For your information, I am Juret Finance, joining you
Yes, she
alongside
is.
Sharon
I
Duncan.
endorse that.
It's a wonderful Monday morning. Is it? It's
It is
wonderful.
with all the rain.
It's raining,
All the
cats and
rain.
dogs. You know I don't like the
I don't
heat.
know if I like the heat
I
wet.
love the rain. I love the
I
coolness
never
of
like
it all.
Alan being half soaked and my foot wet. I
Yeah.
don't like that.
I don't like my
think lovely
feet
about
being
that,
wet
so
and all of that,
I
but
don't know.
I love the rain.
How we can share the car.
It feels.
Chef on McDonald's said they're here waiting. Hope you're wet. Hope you're wet.
What's going on at
Yes,
your
let
end,
us know.
guys? What is
Let us
going
know.
on?
Truly, you
It's
look very
Monday,
pretty this morning.
Monday the 22nd. Oh my goodness, I know something
They
went
look,
good.
they look so
Listen, I
much.
gotta do what I do whilst I
Guys,
can.
our technicians, how we sounding out there? I have Natasha Congraves and
Hey, Yabo, good afternoon
Beatrice.
to you, Yabo. Good afternoon.
Siobhan McDonald, high tea time where Ayabo is.
Mhm.
Folks, share the live wherever you're picking us up from. Do us that's huge favor. And
Mhm.
we can be good friends after that. We can be good friends after that. Let's start on a high note.
We starting off with a certain somebody says
Let's start.
it's raining well. I don't know where the wealth is.
Oh, it's really
There's a different rain falling
I
on
can't
me.
remember what outside today. I don't know how much I can catch.
We're more like acid
Yeah.
rain than they
Yeah,
said. So, I don't know. It's
Don't
different
let's go
type of
there,
rain.
folks. The someone? It's Monday. We want to start on a bad day. Alright? The same someone?
Hey, Alec Boom, good morning to
Yeah,
you. How are you
yeah,
doing this
yes.
morning? Donna Lane, good morning, Donna. What's going on to your end? I see Samantha Prince is in the house with us
Yeah.
early Monday morning. You know how we started off when we start off the week?
Yeah.
We start off the week with all the energy that we stored up from Friday to now. So
Mhm.
you're having it all.
You're on.
Good vibes, good energy. We have to start the morning off like this.
Yeah.
We have to kickstart
Yeah.
the week like this because you
Yeah.
know it's a tough week you're in for. You know, Guyana is a country that no matter how you wake up, which side of the bed you wake up on a Monday morning, we can assure you that before the week is up, there's gonna be some big scandal out there. That's just how
Yeah.
it is. That's
Yeah.
just how it is. Like
Which is pretty much the editorial of yesterday's Starbucks News. Folks, share. We want folks to get valid, credible information. And Starbucks News had quite the editorial yesterday, slapping them boys all across the head. Corruption scandals.
You know,
Corruption scandals.
Starbucks News is different. You know, Starbucks News bring it different.
Yeah. They said they don't change the ways. You know, we just headed to the next one.
But there's share licks all over.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get our.
I heard some things. Yes, Friday that is some your boy press conference is bare nonsense and hypocrisy. You know, so there's that. Quite a few things in the morning paper.
Well, my friend says like my friend says that that's a compulsive lie. He doesn't even tune in to the press conference and hear the lies.
Yeah. You know, compulsive is like you're driven. He's just like every reason. You know, just wake up and say, hey, you know, right now, but clear skies, you know, you look outside, they say clear, nothing happened, baby. And everybody's in is rain like tail. No, rain for them.
Hey, Selena
we don't believe in rain. Call it Bobby Lewis, you know, Donald Lane and all that.
He's one I would walk to the rain and go say, it's sunny, it's nice and sunny this morning.
White and sunny outside.
Different,
Macy,
different level.
Yeah, Macy, Neri Thomas.
Yes.
Neri Thomas. All the other folks. Donna David, not to be confused with
Okay.
the other David from
No.
Bartica.
Barticus and Judah David, yes.
Yeah. Good to have you guys, Doreen Clark. And the Spectator. You gotta stop Spectator and get involved.
Oh my
You know,
goodness.
comes a time in life, in one's life, when you gotta stop.
Roxanne
Spectator.
Odessa Jacobs. Hey Roxanne, what's going on at your end?
Yeah.
You see, I see people complaining about people blocking them all the places. You know,
I
they
don't have the
behave
time.
bad.
I
You know, they behave bad.
Time energy.
Oh, come
I want
That's
you
a piece- that's
all
part
around
of
the
our-
same success.
That's part of our fan base. You can't go knocking them out.
No. I beg you, Randolph.
I vex too.
I talk to
A
Randolph.
petition for you.
You get add back, you don't worry. Dexter Beard and GT Boy, Unruly Green. Unruly Green, I want to set you on the Spectator.
No, that's going to be a fight this morning. Let's not fight this morning.
Right?
This morning.
Carl Fordyce says about the press conference where your old boy last Friday was 3 hours of fluff. You give fluff a bad name. You give Fluff a bad name.
Grenada
Yeah.
is in the house there, Donna.
Yeah,
So she's
yeah.
joining from Grenada.
Wow,
this morning.
wow,
Yes.
wow.
Guys, let me know where you're joining from. Come on, come on.
Donna gets around.
Drop your location.
Donna gets around. How is it in Grenada? What's the latest? What are the morning papers in Grenada? Very soon we can start bringing some of your other
That's
lights.
Carl you're talking to, right?
Huh?
Is Carlos in Grenada?
No, it's
Carlos from where?
Spice Man.
Oh,
Spice Man. I always link the two. Spice Island, Spice Man.
goodness.
Alana Chang,
True.
Region 1 of the house, Port Kaituma.
Yes.
Yep, yep. Shakira Phillips is here as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have Glenford Gordon and all the other folks. Then the person says, good morning, Trina. Good morning.
Oh, good morning to you, Glenn.
Yeah,
How are you
yeah,
this
yeah.
morning? I
Look,
Spice Man now.
Somebody taggy. Spice Man
different.
lurking quietly in the comments. And say, hey, I don't you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't you know. Good to have you, Spice Man.
I see Doreen Clark is watching you live from Delaware.
Yeah.
So
Sia Rebel says, Rebel.
Rebel.
A little
right.
extra.
Rebel.
A little extra. It's species or spices? Spices.
Yes.
Yeah.
Florida in the house this morning also.
We happy.
Aubrey Lennox joining us from Florida. And what's going on? Let me know where you're
Donna
joining.
says it's fair to cloudy in Grenada.
Fair to cloudy.
Fair to cloudy, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We can work with that.
Yeah,
Once
we can
the
work
sun
with
is not like blistering.
Yeah, we can work right there.
Dowland says good morning from Barbados. Barbados. Sending over their the black belly sheep over here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we can do with it here, but we can see about that.
We will.
Oh my God.
Yep. Lots happening, folks. Lots to discuss, lots to talk about, and we trust that you guys are great.
What did you do for the weekend?
Right?
I want to be in your business now.
I had a quiet weekend. I had a pretty quiet weekend. I had I took my son and my nephew and my niece. Was it my two nephews? My nephew and my niece. We went to the zoo and we caught a movie afterwards.
Oh, you did the
We went to the theater. Yeah, we went to the theater after the zoo.
Okay.
And we watched some
A lot of work needs to be done there at the zoo.
I don't want to focus on
A lot
it.
of
It's Monday. I ain't want
A lot of work needs to be done.
The kids enjoyed themselves. And
They
I
love
just
it. They love to see it.
try to remember I was there for them and not.
The best part I think for my child, they love to go and feed the man. That's their favorite.
My
part.
son Ethan was asking about the lions. I said, Ethan, if you come here, you see lions, bless God. You come here, you don't see them. I don't know what happened to the lions. let's move on. Where the lions? You come and you see lions. They're lions. You didn't come and see any. I don't know who to ask.
But I see some work being done there. Last night I was there. They were building some structures. I don't know, like fixing some enclosures and so. But I don't know a lot of work that needs to go.
I think there's stuff.
Yeah. I think so too.
I think there's stuff. The best thing to see there right now is the
I had a conversation.
Harpy
with
eagle.
some- Yes.
Still
yes.
very majestic. And then there was a huge crocodile there. Huge crocodile. Yeah.
Harpy eagle. I always have a problem with the size of the enclosure.
Yeah.
The cage. It's not an enclosure, it's a cage actually. So we have to move to the point that we actually have enclosures for the animals.
Should lose all the animals, then just lose some plantations.
But one thing to
Survival
note,
of the fittest.
but one thing to note is that all the animals there are rescued animals. They don't. They have a policy against torture. So all the animals there are set to be rescued. Well, that would be a very needed rescue. That's a desperately needed rescue.
Species. Folks, good morning. How are you guys doing? Hundreds of you already tuning in. We want the emojis to reflect. Right? The thing, right? Let me match up. Yeah, morning.
Share
Morning,
share
guys.
the stream. Start off your Monday.
Marilyn
good,
Thomas says you look very lovely in blue.
Oh, thank you.
Right?
I need to
look
wear
very
blue a little
democratic.
more often.
Blue is color of the Democrat.
Yes.
You're very democratic.
I am a Democrat.
Dequan Daniel is
name
here as
and
well.
nature,
Yep.
That's who I am.
Yep.
I'm very democratic.
Yeah. So why don't we get into the morning papers?
Let's go.
And see what's been happening.
Mhm.
Right? Quite a few things over the weekend.
I see you there. I said to Spice Man, so we get in some music this morning. No worries, Spice Man. We take it off. You just
don't talk too fast.
Anna Van Kooten says, good morning. Beautiful people. I see you there. Guys, before we get into the discussion, share. Let us have everyone on board when we're starting off. I see you there, Edward Gonzalez, joining us from from the Bronx.
You see, the technical
And
people.
Osman Jackson joining us from Mississippi. Hey, good morning to you, Osman. I'm not sure if I saw you here before, but it's so glad. I'm so happy to have you here this morning. This is a real pleasure. Daquan Daniel said she sugar down. I'm not sure who sugar down. Who is this she that sugar down? So let me see.
It's you in the blue.
I try to pretend it's not me, but I don't think so.
How's that going for you? Is that you?
Prince Hola says good morning. From region 2. Watching from region. Oh, lovely. Watching from region 9. Guys, my bias. I have a bias when you see I see folks joining from region 8, region 9, region 1. And so I'm particularly pleased to see those persons join. And I told you before, my reason being is that those persons have extreme difficulty when it comes to connectivities to actually be on. And I can tell you that the administration does everything in their power to limit their ability to actually access these programs. So when they join, we always say that's awesome. So I always say to share to persons living in those areas. I see you there. Sean Carter says London love. Hey, good morning to you guys. Good afternoon, rather. And Lola Lancaster Bishop also says, good morning, Sharon. Yeah. Lola is in the house.
Hi, Lola. How are you doing?
Yes.
And Juliet, Mikkel, all the other guys. Good morning.
The guy right this morning.
Yeah. You're talking about, is it region 1 you said?
I just want to cuss Garnish right now. So
I saw somebody.
Not this morning.
I park in Garnish like Alia. I parked you this morning. I saw Treasure James, who is a newly minted doctor and socialite. She was ready to fight for Miss Region 1 in the Miss World pageant because she said, how can you get she is in the top everything that they mentioned during the pageant, and then you're not even in the top 3.
Yeah.
Right? And she found that strange. She said she was ready to fight. No, but from her comments, not that she said she was ready to fight. I said Treasure was ready to fight. I saw some of her comments on Twitter.
Okay.
During the morning. There was Miss World, Miss Ghana World, World Ghana. Miss Ghana World, that sounds better.
Miss World, yeah.
Over Miss World Ghana. Which have you convinced me?
Let's just go on with it.
And over the weekend, and there's a new queen. Right? Andrea King is the name that I heard, who is the new queen. Yeah.
Well, listen, I think for anyone that was exposed to what the young women go through in the training for pageantry altogether, they put a lot of work into it. I have to say, kudos to all the persons that mustered up the confidence and so to compete. It's not something that it's not something that any and everybody can do. So a lot of times, the biggest critic. For need of a better word, would be someone that doesn't have that courage to go up and do what they did. So they did a phenomenal job, and I have to say that, but I'm
critic like spectator who says it was a disappointment.
I'm telling you that, like I just said, I don't know if he's ready to go and actually showcase his
Ghana says you are one of our queens.
Well, that's a foregone conclusion, but nevertheless, let's move on. Back to the pageant. We park in Garnish and then we mentioning him when he comes in with the good stuff.
Good.
I'm from region 7, so where my attention was when it comes to the pageant. I was there and I was in one particular direction when it comes to the contestants, because Dalian Richmond, she's from Bartica, so I was there more so repping for her. But I have to say that the young ladies, they did a phenomenal job. The judge's decision is final. We have to say congratulations there to the queen. Congratulations. And we know that you're going to go and put all your effort, your best effort forward to represent Guyana there on that international stage. And that's what we want. We want our young people to be able to have the confidence, the zeal to go forward and to rep us well. So,
correct.
A major congratulations, I'm saying, to you. And I have to say that I'm going to be cheering on too.
Excellent. Morning papers. Morning
Yes,
papers.
let us get to the morning papers, guys. Let us get to the morning papers. Oh gosh, Sharon,
I want to be
and my
surprised.
energy has
I want to be surprised by what's in the news.
so
there was
energy
that.
was
That's
high, and then I have to come to the morning papers.
that's part of what is in the morning papers. Another issue that's in the morning papers is I saw that the EPA, brace yourself, the EPA and the GGMC visited the Chinese landing. What's this particular area there? I started over the weekend. It has a lovely name. That's why I went. Tasserini. That's the area in Chinese landing that has the mining issues.
Tasserini.
All right, and they said they didn't see nothing wrong.
Tasserini.
They see nothing wrong, right? Yeah. They say everything is okay.
You see, that happens. That happens.
Yeah.
It's like if I am going to investigate Sherry Duncan, right? And Sherry Duncan say, "Well, I'm gonna come pick you up, and I'm gonna take you around on the four-wheel and so on." And so on and so
Especially
forth.
if you know the place, so
And
what you look for, where you're going, right? And the people who the grievances against, they're the one ferrying you around
EPA
to
need
see.
to leave some of them there, live amongst the people.
EPA don't sell there.
Don't walk with your own water and so. Go drink the water that the people have to drink and so forth.
They said they ain't seen nothing wrong. We've been following what's been happening in the indigenous community, especially at Chinese landing, as we said, and Tasserini, and then you have Eseneru, right? All of those places. Them boys said they didn't see nothing wrong at Chinese landing. International organization, it said real human rights violations happening there. Starbuck News sent a reporter in who corroborated much of it. And then boys said they didn't see nothing. Well, the Ghana Human Rights Association came out swinging over the weekend and say, really, really brought the pressure to bear on what's her name, the Indigenous Affairs Minister, Sukai, and saying that the government, there's nothing where the government can do is not enough.
Yeah,
it's not enough, and so kudos to the.
But that's why
Human Rights
I'm happy that I'm happy that they said that, and I want to say that when we did our bit of reporting on the matter, we did say that if she's of the opinion that there's nothing else she can do, then she needs to just resign because that's her role, that's her portfolio to do everything, continue to fight on the people's behalf. And if she was saying there that there's nothing else she could do, that she needs to just resign, step out, and let somebody else take up that portfolio.
Move out of the way.
Basically.
Right? Move out of the way. Also, a bit of reporting on the Starbuck News. As it concerns Ralph Ramkran. Ralph Ramkran is a politician, and he's with the new United Ghana Party. And he said over the weekend too, and it's in this morning's paper as well, that he sees no reason why Irfan Ali cannot appoint the substantive Chancellor and Chief Justice. Yeah.
Well, I think Mrs. Norton made it very clear, because this is something also that consultation is necessary for. And Mr. Norton made it absolutely clear that he has no issue with that.
Yeah.
He has no issues with those.
Yeah.
So there's nothing stopping them now.
Yeah.
You can't go and say that, oh well, the opposition it's not in favor or something. Mr. Norton made it pellucid that he doesn't have an issue with it.
What would be interesting is if you see I don't know if he has done this yet, but the same party that Ralph Ramkran comes from, it has joined with what's the other one? Liberty and Justice, Schumann, and Schumann represents him in National Assembly. To see him push that same line, it would be interesting. But nonetheless,
Schumann has never once, I think, carried the same line, because he's different.
Yeah. So he's a soup drinker.
He's different.
He's a soup drinker. So those are a couple of things.
Man stands in the National
over the
Assembly
weekend.
and says nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know why you just want to upset me, Sharon.
Yeah. I'm giving you two. You can move ahead. I want to come up. I want to dwell too long on myself.
Let's not stay.
Yeah,
but guys, we've been asking, and today we're going to continue to ask, and we're going to plead with you to make sure that you're careful on the roadways. We have too many lives being lost when it comes to the road fatality.
Correct.
We've been saying it. It's months we carried arrive alive,
and still,
how many
slow
days
down.
did we not. I think we have.
Even today we talking about it. Slow down and arrive
It's
alive.
crazy. You know,
Yeah.
you have to do it. And a bit of really, really sad reporting this morning has a motorist from Stefan Sword dies in the Rupert Craig Highway accident. You know, young man, 32 years old, like baby, you now
Yeah.
scratching the surface. You
Yeah.
know, you have to let us do
21, you
better.
said?
31.
Yeah. Still young.
32, did I say?
Still
I
young,
didn't
got a
say
whole
one.
decade on him. Still
Yeah.
young. Still young.
Very young, you
Still
know. You're still considered in the constitution of this lovely country. You're still considered youth until you reach that age of 35. And we have, and this is somebody I know, like I know my brother knew him very personally because they worked together for a good amount of time. So it's very disturbing to have to report on these things after asking repeated times that we do better. Let us do better.
Yeah.
And make sure
Yeah.
that nobody else gets into those horrific accidents.
Yeah.
And this is not the only one. We had several,
Yeah.
you know, several
Yeah.
accidents, and
And-
all persons didn't lose their lives and all of that. Several accidents during the weekend. It was crazy.
I'm sorry we don't have the graphic for that one. If you see the car,
I
the
didn't
state of
want
the
to look
car,
at it. It
the
was
car
terrible.
it's totally mangled. Totally
People
mangled.
were saying that you couldn't even recognize what vehicle it was.
Yeah, totally mangled.
That's
Even
how bad
last
it
weekend there was a
was.
bus that had an accident at Good Hope, and the whole top of the bus came off. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking like,
I
how
think-
fast could you be driving on the road?
How fast, right?
That the whole top of the bus, you know. I didn't get a sense of the fatalities, if any. But clearly, if that bus had a lot of people in it, you could tell a lot of people would have lost their head and torso and so on. The whole top of the bus, you know, whole top of the bus, right?
And here we are talking about the road fatalities, and Naomi dropped here the comment. Sure, that looks like a new suit.
Yeah.
Asking for Freddie.
It's a wealthy businessman, but oh no, a wealthy black businessman.
You gotta be specific. It's
Wealthy
not just
black
wealthy.
businessman, but it's me. Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate. You know, haters gonna hate. If Freddie talk about me, I must be out front. We must be out front.
Yeah.
Moving on, folks.
Yeah.
Share the live. You know, since we're out front, let me look the part. Share the live, folks. Smash the emoji button for us, and let's move on. What else you got, Julie?
I'm not sure I could explain this one to me, but in the morning papers this morning, a reporting coming straight out of Kiteshore News, you know, the one and only Kiteshore News. You know, Kiteshore don't play when it comes to reporting on oil and gas, and they have been on the money all the time.
On the mark. On the mark.
Yeah, so
Tell me.
I say on the money, they be following the money, whatever direction it leads in. It says oil production and data reportedly under guard of EPA.
Yes. Them boys don't want to see the thing. You know, they promise transparency. You know, they like talk about that. And the Americans advise them, you know, stop talking, just act. Right? But they want you to see the real numbers. I don't know why. I see y'all boy in the press conference yesterday, Friday, talked about the FAO report on the fish. But he said that they want to release it. The FAO said the ExxonMobil not causing the low fish yield. But they want to release the report. It's like this. You know, everything is tightly guarded. Right? Tightly guarded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we go back to this is pre-2015, you know. When it comes to data and sharing information, it was never something. It was a period 2015 to 2020 that information share actually became a thing that people realized they actually had the right to demand
and even
information.
Now, look, in this John Bascom saga that continues, them boys had international investigators here and then tell me nothing. You know, them inform the family the progress of the case and the family protesting too. That's
well, listen. I don't know if I can how much credibility it is to the statements.
The default mode is to thief and hide.
So I don't know what's the credibility to the statements out there, because I do know that they said something else that was debunked by two other persons. So when they said they had persons here, I want like where's the evidence? Where's the evidence that people were here?
Another when you talk about credibility, you'll hear in Spectator Best Friend press conference.
Oh gosh.
On Friday, the man said he will not allow anybody to sully.
No, that was
oh, that was the donor.
That was it for me.
He will not allow anybody to sully the reputation of the PPP. Oh Father, that wanted more people. But they were struggling with that one. I see the live, like a lot of people couldn't check it. You know, we were looking at all the streams that the people were pushing that propaganda to. You know, they couldn't manage. And these people are in government, mind you. And this is the state resources. NCN carrying it. Newsroom, they couldn't manage 1,000 people in totality watching this riveting. People fed up with them. People don't want to hear anything they say.
That's the collective viewership.
People don't want to hear anything that they say, you know. So they got a struggle on their hands. They got a struggle. Struggle is real too. The struggle is real. So yes, that's what Kaiser News is reporting, that they're trying to get a true picture of what's happening in the oil and gas industry. What's the data? What's the data showing us? Well, them boys got under lock and key. Everything in this country under lock and key, besides the high cost of living. It's only that it's run away.
They said they're examining it. Is that the word? That's the word they use? Examining it, or the high cost of living? The PP is examining.
Are we coming there? Hold on. You're coming there. You come. So if we dispense with the morning papers, we can turn our attention to some of what is making international news headlines. Can we go there? Do I have your permission?
Go there. Just go ahead and share. Come on, guys.
Don't get thing, right?
Don't get wild.
Russia is moving on Ukraine in a greater way, bigly, to use Trump's word. Russia and the president of Ukraine, Mr. Zelensky, feels that their independence is coming up on the 31st, and this is their independence from Russia. And they believe that Russia is going to pick up the bombardment even more on their Independence Day.
Imagine that.
And so they're watching that. You know, they've been having quite a few international visitors.
On Independence.
Yeah. So I don't think Russia thought they'd still be here, right? And I like when we saw this headline earlier, I'm thinking, oh, there's still a war in Ukraine.
And we kind of we kind of move from it so much because a lot of other events have overtaken it. And that's what always happens. But let us not forget that there were troops from China there in Russia doing some of their own drilling. I can't remember what the exercise was. An exercise. I think they reported as a special exercise or something of that.
With Russia.
With Russia
and some other countries,
right? Because and then you have what's still going on in there in the Ukraine, and it's crazy, you know. I know Zelensky, and if I'm to go back to what he was saying initially, he was looking to all of these bodies, these international bodies, and so that says their role is to mitigate in all of these different functions. And when the rubber hit the road, and you have what is going on there. Everything is playing out in real time. Actuality, this is what it is. He said, you know, if y'all can't do it, y'all should be just don't exist.
Correct.
Don't exist because he believed wholly and solely that those persons, those organizations was there to actually intervene on the weaker party's behalf, in this case being the Ukraine. And it didn't happen. So what does that teach us? You know, you don't go pick and fight it when you don't have your own manpower to get it. And they didn't go pick in a fight. But I'm speaking from home right now.
Interesting to see what's happening. And as you're talking about military exercises and drills and so on, look what's happening in the China Sea. I was about to ask you which sea it is, but in the China Sea, South Korea and US are to begin their largest military drills in years amid the North Korea backlash.
Yes, my goodness. And you know, they're different. You know, we were talking about Korea.
Is it in the China Sea? Just double checking there.
I think it's East China Sea. If I'm
China Sea, though. Can't be too specific, though. Wait ahead.
I think that's what it is. But listen, I'm telling you, people do not have certain things just to look at its sake. At some point in time, they're going to be using these things. So all of that talk here about, after World War II, we'll never have one again. Then World War II, we'll never have one again. And I strongly
believe that, across the divide said we never have PP again. Here we are. Same degradation. You know, see this movie before?
You know, some people say, you know, I think the change. There you have it. You know, I don't answer some.
We can show you how to change it.
You know, I don't answer some people's calls. We can show you. You know, all of them. You know. They can change, you know, they're changing, and so they get a wake up call. Don't answer the call, no one.
So while those drills are about to happen in the China Sea, South Korea and the U.S., you know, we spoke last week about Kim Jong Un's sister.
Yeah, that's what I was just.
Kim is it Kim Ong Jong?
Don't ask me, Sharon.
Jong Jo and she. I think she said to the South Korean president,
"Shut your mouth."
Yeah, you know.
Shut your mouth.
We say differently, young people. You know, there was a whole song. There was a father on TikTok recently. Shut yours. But she was singing bang bang. she was.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
She was saying it in a diplomatic speech. You know, shut your mouth. In our generation, you hear that? In our generation, bang bang, bang bang.
Caribbean as a whole.
Bang bang. So as you're talking about Caribbean and we're coming closer to home, this was happening. Well, not home, but still.
Region. We're in a region, guys.
A Jamaican fella, David Odin McIntosh, he got 13 years over the weekend in a U.S. jail, and this is for a lottery scam in the U.S. that bled a lot of elderly folks out of a lot of money. And he was one of the persons. Jamaican lottery scammer David Odin McIntosh got 13 years. And when I thought about Roger Khan, the similar amount of years, kind of same there. And Roger Khan has been featuring a lot locally, not just scamming, but in this business, you have to have the balls, you know. You have to have the balls. Right? David Odin McIntosh.
You have to have the willingness to sacrifice years in jail, and that you should not have. You know, just don't go out and do those things. I don't know what persuades people to go out and do things like that, because I think they said a lot, like you said, a lot of elderly persons, were scammed. You know, it's crazy. You just don't do that. I mean, when it comes to certain things, you know.
Yeah. So
the government is frauding us every day. You know, that's
correct. Is right. Correct is right. So while that's happening on the Jamaican end, I just hate it when people try to call you during the program. It's like you don't even know our schedule here. Clearly, you're watching us. You know, if you're calling me this out, clearly you're watching us. Clearly, you don't watch your phone. So I vex on that front alone.
Yeah.
Because clearly you getting follow incredible information anybody. You know, somebody's trying to call us and we can see the notification and. On the monitor here. We hate taking that way, but
don't worry.
But still. That being said, folks, closer to where we are in the region, Barbados, they're already warning their people. We are different, right? That this food issue here that we have currently with the high prices and so on is gonna go way into next year, and this is a lot because of the droughts that some countries are facing, like China and the U.S. You know, I think it's been an extremely hot summer here, more than usual, and you don't even get an advisory out of these folks here. Much more this kind of economic forecasting, which really says anchor down. Right, we're in a storm and they're gonna last a little longer than we perceive. She's saying this thing is gonna go into next year.
Wow!
Right, quite a few countries are experiencing drought, in addition to all the other challenges that we're having that's being brought to bear on high food prices and the what they like to call it, the global logistics crisis and all of that.
No, they talk about the global supply chain.
I even saw something over the weekend here too about the tomato virus. I mean, like you run out of names now. Squash virus, Bigfoot virus, like I don't know, tomato virus. Right? It looks kind of like what's the one? Smallpox? No, monkeypox. It looks kind of like that, but it's
Monday
like
morning, sir.
Very, you know what I mean? You talk about monkeypox. I'm sorry.
Okay,
it needs to be fried. I understand. Tomato virus now. Right? It looks like monkeypox, but it's red. It's very red. I don't know. So Mia's warning her citizens, telling them that the food supply disruptions, they're going to continue. So y'all like your little Danish cookies, you might see it for Christmas, right? Your little walnuts and so on. So she's letting them to know, brace. Right? Brace yourself, right?
May is different, and she has been doing a lot, and that's why she gets the international recognition that she gets.
Indeed.
She doesn't have the oil and gas, and so like Guyana, but she gets more recognition as a leader.
We got too much gas. We listen to some of her
as
leaders.
A Caribbean leader,
too much gas
because of her her, well, not
Yeah.
just her
Marilyn is
governance,
asking
but
about the tomato virus. When in doubt, Google. You can see it there. Tomato virus.
they're gonna come up with everything. Trust
Yeah,
me,
tomato
everything under the
virus.
sun, they're gonna come up
So
with.
so it was interesting because as we listened to Mia Motley on this issue of the supply, food
Mm-hmm.
supply, and so on,
Mm-hmm.
she might remember it would bring it down food import.
Mm-hmm.
We have to bring it down. It will come down naturally because there's so little to go around. So we ain't got to worry about that. It's going to come down naturally. In that press conference, yes, last week Friday, that 3 hour press conference of nothing, and I'll show you why it's nothing. The question was put. I could tell that you didn't have time
No, I didn't look at it.
with BJ.
I usually try my best to look at all, but I
Yeah, yeah, that
particularly
one's a
didn't
little
look at all.
strained. That one's a little strained.
I kind of was boring, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Usually gets a little more fired.
So the question was put to Mr. Vice President:
Mm-hmm.
what new
Mm-hmm.
is the government proposing to help cushion the high cost living? What new?
Let me hear
And
this.
true to form, the press conference about nothing. There was nothing new. If you listen to the articulation there, what new? So as we saw this, we asked the question too. What new? And it was quite insightful. That was actually nothing being proffered there. Nothing new.
It's a real issue. It's a real issue. It's affecting Guyanese everywhere. We've seen the increase in prices at various levels. And so the first policy that the government put in place was to remove the taxes. So that taxes have the benefit of helping everyone. We removed the VAT on lube oil because with the common external tariff we could not remove, but we removed the VAT on lube oil. We removed the 50% tax on fuel. And that has made a huge difference because the price of fuel, gasoline, diesel, etc., they feed into production and also transportation. So that's the first measure that we introduced. Secondly, we decided that we had already removed the value-added tax on hinterland travel and freight into the hinterland. But we decided that in the hinterland areas, and riverine areas, the people are disproportionately affected because although cost of living is high on the coast and has increased, in those areas it's magnified because of higher transportation costs. So what has happened is that there's an across-the-board grant to every household in those areas to address the cost of living. That's the second measure that we put in place. The third measure is that we believe that although we may not be able to address the cost of living directly through reduction in prices, that we could also help on the production side where the cost of inputs have gone up. So for the farmers, the big issue was the cost of fertilizer that skyrocketed because of the price of oil. So they have this $1 billion program to assist them. So you have a dual benefit there. They go back to production, which can keep supply down, up and prices down. That is for the cash crops. And then they also, because of lower input costs, because they're getting help, their marginal income could improve so that they would assist them to better cope with, not to address cost of living directly, but to cope with the cost of living. The same thing, the fishermen issue had been predated this issue about their long period when they were not, the season change, as FAO pointed out, and Lal said it was the oil companies chasing away the fish, but there was a commitment to assist them in that regard. So they are now getting some help. In terms of supplementing family income, we also decided that the part-time employment. So we have now 11,000 people. There'll be another 4,000 people, mainly women and young people across the country. 15,000 people, maybe you'd have an impact about maybe 3, 4 per household. You're going to have about 60,000 people benefiting from that. That's only on the coast. We have increased in the hinterland from 2,000, another 500 CSOs. So you cushion also, you supplement family income at that level. We are hoping also that this $30,000 that their families have received from the government would assist with some of the cost of living measures too, although it wasn't designed originally for cost of living. So we are one of few. We then, at the customs level, we've still maintained the policy almost for 2 years now, a year and a half, where we're using the old freight rate to calculate the taxes, because the CIF value, you levy the tax on an ad valorem basis on CIF. So when the freight component of it went up from like $3,000 to $20,000, so the cost, insurance, and freight, and then you put the tax on that. We're using the old freight rate. So that has lowered the taxes that people had to pay, and therefore, hopefully it would abate some of the price increases. On the small people who are constructing, we recognize that the price of labor has gone up because there's a boom. We have a scarcity now in some skills, and then the cost of living for steel and others, the price of steel and cement. So that is why we've launched a program where for small homes below a particular level, they will get all the steel for free and the cement. And then for those slightly above, they will get some cement. All of these are direct intervention methods that we're using to hopefully cushion the cost of living. And that's not the end. We're still assessing this to see what more impact. We're looking now at the pensioners. We're starting to look at pensioners to see what we can do in that regard. So it is we are one of the few countries that have all launched a lot of these measures. Because look at the US, it got hit heavily, well, around the world with cost of living measures. So those are just some of the issues.
Yep. And we played it in its entirety because you have to understand, if you've been following.
You have to listen.
Yeah, and if you listen to that, you'd realize that almost 99% of it is nothing new. If you would listen to them 2 years ago, like he said, they came in and saying we had too many taxes. We were earning too much money, to fix roads and that kind of stuff, and to make healthcare better. Because remember, we didn't have oil and gas. We didn't have the revenues yet. We were earning too much of money. The people were, in their estimation, overtaxed, and so they supposedly, according to them, did away with 200 taxes. They were never able to publish these 200 taxes anywhere.
I have challenged them,
right,
to list 200. Yeah. I've challenged them. I've asked the National Assembly. I've asked several places. List the 200 taxes. You did try to get away with blatant murder. Yeah. You understand? By just going out there and just blurting out things like that. But he spoke there, and I believe it was absolutely important for you to listen to everything that he said. And what's more important for you to do is to sit down. You can sit down with a pen and identify at what point in time any of what he just said made your life easier. If any of what he said, if it actually put any measures in place for your personal household to reduce the cost of living.
I did say so. There was no intervention directly to people to influence the cost of living in terms of coming down.
He did nothing. Listen, you can go back. You can listen. He did nothing, and that is not he. The PP administration did nothing. You can go back to, and at the end of the program, you will go back and listen from the very beginning as to what are some of the things that he's identifying. Let me tell you something. He's trying to put a lot of effort when it comes to these part-time jobs, because this is something that he himself seems to be championing, these part-time jobs. And I don't know how is it that we're supposed to look at this as such a brilliant initiative or something like that. The part-time jobs is the money that persons are getting. I think it's $40,000. $40,000. That's what it is. 40.
Correct.
The 40,000. Some of them not even getting that,
Yeah.
and we've been
Sometimes
talking
it's
about
2,000,
that,
8,000.
right? Let me tell you something. Those persons that actually have to go, because a lot of them at home collecting the money. Let's start from that point. A lot of them have not been
Correct.
assigned to any specific location that they have to go and work and all of that, but they're getting money based on where you live and which PP representative in the area. That's how you're taken care of. This is how they're doing things. And for the persons that are assigned to a location and have to go, the $40,000 is like they are working for the transportation and the meals to go to work.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
If it even pen out to that amount, given the inflation rate that you're looking at with transportation and food, they're not transporting these people to and from work, right? You're giving people 40,000. You want to come and beat your chest about it,
and so
like, which blatant madness
is going to go and impact their larger families. How?
It can't even.
How?
It cannot even sustain them to get to the damn job and back.
He's saying that 15,000 people are employed, but that is going to go and impact 45,000 other persons. That's how we get a 60,000 figure. How? 40,000 could barely look after you. Transportation alone, that's I would say it's 40,000.
Yeah.
Right. How?
Yeah.
Is 40,000 supposed to impact 45,000 other persons?
When I go to the CSOs, when it comes to the CSOs, I go to the indigenous communities and I talk about the CSOs. All right. Let me put it like this. We started this morning program and we mentioned at the very beginning, we talked about Chinese landing and what is going on in Chinese landing. All right. Let me remind you, if you just forgot, Chinese landing issue, we have a major mining company there. And this is not just a Chinese landing issue. Throughout the country, we have issues prior to 2050. The PPP have given permission to private people to go and mine the lands within the boundaries of the indigenous communities, within the borders of those communities. And I have to tell you, when it comes to that money that they're giving through the CSO right about now, I don't know if it's supposed to be a piecemeal to the indigenous people, because that's how they put it over us, as though this is something that they're trying. Oh, well, if we give you this little pittance at the end of the month, you're supposed to shut up and look at the truckloads of your gold and so being shipped out, right? Just shut up and use the water that is contaminated. That's how they treat that. So I am most upset. It gets under my skin every single time they go out there and they talk about the CSOs and they're giving the CSOs this money. What they can do for the indigenous communities is make sure that they receive some bit of the royalties that has been sucked out to the ground by these large companies, whilst those people are living in poverty within those areas. No, not pittance of that. That is not even a drop in the ocean compared to the money that is being ripped out of the soil in those communities. It is not even a drop in the ocean when it comes to that. So the hell's with that talk about the indigenous communities and this and that, when you're going into these communities, treating the people like trash, violating them, human rights violation left, right, and center, and then you're going to come to, oh, we give the indigenous people, the CSOs, they get a little drop in the ocean, so you all should be satisfied with that. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. We have to call these things out. Let us call it out. The amount of money that is made when it comes to the mining sector, the amount of money, indigenous communities that are wealthy when it comes to natural resources in the land itself. And those people, you're gonna tell these people that, oh, the CSO money, that's what you're giving to them. That should be their muzzle so that they can't speak up for their rights and all of those things. Absolute nonsense. But let's get down to the end of what he just said. At the end of what he just said, most importantly, let me tell you. So we all know that Irfan Ali himself at the Building Expo, he went and made this large announcement, that he's going to be buying all the cement and steel.
They didn't inform the Minister of Finance.
He didn't inform the Minister of Finance.
Right?
So now you see BJ coming out saying what? Okay, persons that is building at a certain size home and all of that. Now they're trying to formulate some kind of policy structure to deal with the madness that was announced. Now they're trying to formulate something. So they're saying, oh, you hold up there. You think you would have gotten something from this? Hold up. It have to be a certain size of 10 by 10 or something.
The size is not defined as yet, but
It's
We're gonna
not
know soon.
defined as yet. Come on.
We're gonna
come
know
on.
soon. We're gonna know soon. We're gonna know soon. And you
Oh,
know,
goodness.
we're gonna dial back to that as we come to more local news, because we were talking about what's happening in Barbados. That's how we got there. Just as a comparison, that me is already looking to next year and telling the citizens to brace. And I'm certain they just roll out a whole host of measures to help their population there in Barbados. And we still talking about things that 2 years ago people can't really benefit from, right? So that's on that side. But a bit of good news as we on this front. Over the weekend, we recognize that some of our young people who were involved in robotics, for instance, they have scored very big on the international stage, walking away with about 16 medals. A lot of groups participated on the international stage where robotics is concerned, and we're so happy that our young people are doing some positive things. And we say, kudos, respect, and manners.
Yeah, kudos to our young people when it comes to all that's happening in STEM. And you would remember that it was I think it was Sandra Granger that was there working alongside them with the first team going out there and showcasing the young talent of Guyana, right? Just in case you forgot. Just in case you forgot all of that.
Yep. So that's happening on that front. And again, congratulations to our young people. And back to some of the madness now, because we can't escape it. We got to deal with some of the stuff that transpired over the last weekend, and starting with Friday. And this is part of the nonsense that we saw come out in that press conference on Friday. The installed vice president calling for an investigation into documents showing alleged voter fraud. And this is interesting. I don't know if Chronicle got this right at all, where this bit of information was pulled from. I don't know if Chronicle got it right at all. Calling for investigation, and we know some of this to give it context. Remember, it was I don't know if Chronicle got it right, because remember it was GCOM who wrote to the GRO's office asking them to verify that certain people were dead who were seemingly voted miraculously on March 2nd. Chronicle reported that clearly one of the reporters have not been following this issue as the GRA.
Gotcha.
And they actually spelled it out as Ghana Revenue Authority. So I don't know what the Revenue Authority has to do with that, besides you can't collect tax from them. But it was the GRO's office and immigration. Those were the two offices. People who were overseas, but yet seemingly voted. And he made a comment that he didn't see one person who we said was overseas and that voted, that to have been verified. So that's what they're asking for, to be verified. It's quite strange, because it's a lot of things running.
Who is the CEO? Who is the editor?
There's a lot of things. The editor clearly hasn't been following. Well, they were trying to overthrow him there at Chronicle just yesterday, so he got the hands full. But in just to show you how confusing this government is, there's a lot of things they're trying to run on the same track. You got 2 elections petitioned in the court.
Correct.
He said they were not going to pursue a COI, and he says yes, there's going to be a COI. And now there is a COI. He seemed to want investigation outside of the COI, and their court case is on election fraud. So you got about 5 things running, but I said none of them will affect each other, right? It's interesting too, because if you've been following, you would know that the very GCOM who he's talking about, he says that they can investigate this. They said it has to be left an election petition, and you had cases that went straight to the CCJ, and the CCJ said the same thing. It has to be done through a election petition, siding with GCOM. So to hear him say they want to go investigate now, these dead people and all of that, when GCOM has been saying, and quite recently saying, that they don't have the capacity to investigate, because remember we were asking them to do a review. They don't even want to review their processes in the 2020 elections. And here's this fellow comes up by saying that they should now investigate. Who does investigation? Who knows, right? And this is when they got what's his name's brother at the GRO's office. The bishop, Juan Echel's brother, is there, so they can send him to he now to verify if these dead people were really dead, right? Implant him there for a whole year to do the mischief. And then he said, now y'all can go and investigate. When everything's set up nice, right? Now y'all going to investigate dead people on the list when you got to go through Raymond Cummins, right? And then when we have done our machinations now at the immigration's office, 2 years out, right? Why didn't you do that day one when you come in? Right? 2 years in, they say, no, you can go and investigate. And when the court says this has to be done
Probably
through
said he's
elections petition,
probably signaled his readiness.
and you're now fighting the elections petition. If you want to investigate, tell them by pull back and let the petitions go.
Yeah.
You know?
Come on, that's a real investigation. That's real.
Yeah,
They're expending tons of funds to make sure that the petition does not see the light of day.
Yeah.
They're doing that every
and
single
talking
day.
about investigation, they say. Wasting taxpayers' money. Wasting taxpayers. And this is another bit of nonsense we saw coming out of that press conference too. You know, instruments. Well, rather, this is Kaitro News reporting on this bit here. Instruments that afforded the 2020 fiasco still in place, like the padded voters list, which he want to change, right? The opposition has been talking about the bio what? Help me out here. The biometric voting. He ain't want that, right? But you want to go to investigate. But don't pass. But you can affect the future elections. You know, the credibility of the future election. He said, right? They don't want no new voters list, even though these are the same people who were fighting for a new voters list quite recently. So this is some of the madness that we're seeing. I think more to come. More to come. And that, I think, takes us into the big issue, since see the church has no comment there. Bascom Bacchus and the GPF. Bascom Bacchus and the GPF. Folks, never dull moment in this country. Scandal after scandal.
I look at this one a couple of times.
Right? Scandal after scandal. You know, Sabbath News again, right now over the weekend, says we barely come out of Sugate. Barely out of Sugate.
We out?
In terms of their willingness to investigate,
okay, well,
it's still there.
It's there. It's
a huge asterisk. Barely come past that, and we've not passed it. But you understand what I mean. And then boom, we got Bascom to deal with. Well, I am assuming you guys come with some previous knowledge. We go back from the scratch. But Mr. Bacchus, what Bacchus is the fellow's name? I'm missing it now. Missing my cue.
Yes, Rondell Bacchus.
Rondell Bacchus was one of the persons who was fingered in the investigation as and alleged to have been the perpetrator who took the life of Ricardo Fagundes.
That's what I remember.
Right?
Don't worry.
Rondell Bacchus. Now, Rondell Bacchus came forward and said, no, that's not the case. He had no hand in that.
Yeah.
There has been that dispute where Sergeant Dion Bascom said when they wanted bulletin, it was issued for Bacchus. He's the one who Bacchus called, and he took Bascom into CID. CID, through the crime chief, refuted that vehemently. And also Bascom told us that Dion Bascom told us that Rondell Bacchus was supposed to be the fall guy. And he alleged that the masterminds were planning that he should be the fall guy, and they would say that, you know, he was killed, you know, the suspect in this Fagundes matter was killed in confrontation with law enforcement. But he took Bacchus in, and that Officer Caesar was very surprised when he saw him in the compound with Bacchus, because, of course, plan on working out. According to Dion Bascom, right? So when we just took the liberty of putting Bascom's statement alongside the CID statement, alongside Rondell Bacchus' statement, and it's up to you to decide, you know, who telling stories, right? Somebody out here selling dreams.
Interesting,
right? But I think most people believe it's the Ghana police force out here selling dreams.
Let's see what the comment section have to say.
Bascom is saying that he took Rondell Bacchus in to the police. Bacchus is saying Bascom took him.
Yes.
And the police say, all right? And, you know, we can pick it up from this. So here is that, you know, all trees, this story got a lot of sides, folks. This particular story got a lot of sides.
Rondell Bacchus was the fucking fat man we put on the bulletin for. He came in, he tell me and the inspector them just went to drop one of the everybody in the Camp prison. And he came and tell me these men just put out the bulletin fee. Yeah. These men just put out the bulletin fee like come and get it. You understand? I am telling the inspector, when I tell you, get it, take out my gun, put it on my lap, and then I pick up Rondell Bacchus and tell you, 20 minutes after they put out the bulletin fee. When I walk into the participants, you see the man, it was so his face changed. Not to know later on, you know what was the plan? The plan was to kill fucking Randall Bacchus. I said that to die in confrontation. The event was to be suspect in paper shots, more than confrontation with police.
A wanted bulletin based our response to his allegations that a wanted bulletin was issued on the 6th of April 2021 for Randall Bacchus, and 1 hour later he turned himself in with his attorney at law and not in company of Mr. Dion Bascom, as he was seen misleading the public during his Facebook Live, claiming that the police wanted to kill Randall Bacchus. A screenshot of the Kaitro News article confirming this is shown to the right. The police station diary at the Criminal Investigation Department also confirms that Mr. Bascom is being untruthful. Conclusion. Based on the foregoing, Dion Bascom's claim that he brought the information about Mark Richmond to the police, which he said also, is easily debunked as a deliberate falsehood and malicious in nature. That he brought Randall Bacchus to the police is a deliberate falsehood and malicious in nature. And it's not, you're not only getting information from the police, you have the information there, the clippings from Kaitro News.
When the police issued a wanted bulletin for you, they claimed that your lawyer turned you into the police.
No.
I want you to take me step by step. When you learned of the wanted bulletin being issued for you, what happened?
When I learned of the wanted bulletin issue for me, the first person I jump on my phone and call is my attorney, Damian De Silva. That is the first person I call and tell him that I'm going down at Ifleary. With or without him, I'm going there.
Right.
You understand? Then afterwards, I jump on the phone again and I call Bascom.
Who Bascom?
Officer Bascom.
Dion Bascom?
Dion Bascom.
Right.
I call him and say, watch, a bulletin issue for me. And he come and he pick me up and we go in there.
So Bascom took you into police?
Bascom took me in, and shortly after, my attorney, Damian De Silva, arrived there.
Where did Bascom pick it from?
Bascom picked me up from a house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And took you in too.
And took me in.
Right. So how is it that the police is saying that it was your lawyer who turned you in?
My lawyer did not turn me in. Mr. Damian De Silva did not turn me in, but he come shortly after. And I let him know that I'm going there. I never give him details of who I'm going there with.
Right.
Nor who is carrying me there.
Mm-hmm.
But I let him know that I'm going there because a bulletin issue for me. I did not have no knowledge, nor I did not kill this individual. Because, you know, you really know why I'm telling you that. I don't want to comment on that. Bascom tell me, Randall Bacchus, that he like working with Caesar. There's a man is crack case. So, what happened now? Bascom had a major role to play within this whole investigation, a very major role.
So he knows the inside out.
He had a major role to play. I did not kill paper shots. I gotta protect me.
Yep. He had a major role to play.
And the police said that he didn't have no role to play.
Yeah.
This
It's interesting.
not what they
It's
said?
interesting. And you know, when that was issued, the police has actually put out a statement. It's just wiring statements and press conference happening. The police put out a statement and a photograph to prove that his lawyer
was there.
his lawyer took him. Yep. Put out a photograph to prove definitively.
How
And this
does
one
that
put out.
prove that it is lawyer took him
Yeah,
there?
put out a photograph.
I mean, if they had a
Because-
footage of him
and
walking in the gate and up the
I mean,
step
a
with
primary
his
school
come
child
on,
there.
man. Come on.
Because both himself and I think Bacchus and Bascom said that the lawyer came afterwards, and Bacchus just said his lawyer came shortly afterward. He called his lawyer, told him where he was going, and his lawyer came afterwards. Well, the police put out this photograph showing Bacchus and his lawyer at the station. A lot of these. Bacchus and his lawyer at the
That's
station
piece of the
as being refuting the fact that you know.
That's part of the process, that when they're sitting talking there, that somebody is there at the corner taking a photo.
Well, when I was detained,
That's a process.
That video camera me all the time. Like
That's a process.
Apparently.
So they take that and put it in
Apparently.
evidence. So that can be that could be accessed by your attorney
but
as evidence.
what they had me at is the Kaitra News piece that proved definitively.
That is my thing, you know.
They don't
we have
a
news article there that says, I don't know, Kaiser News.
This lawyer took him, and they said, well, the lawyer must have taken him. So,
how is it the Kaiser News now is verifying who took somebody? Right?
It's quite interesting. This saga, this debacle, as Travis Chase of HGP TV himself, who did that interview, that exclusive interview, said he called it debacle, debauchery, whatever you want to call it. This scandal, just another scandal, you know, and this one gripping the nation. But what was interesting is all the parties who are involved, because Azruddin Mohammed, when the police had their press conference, they issued a statement through a Facebook page, which is believed to be Azruddin issued that statement because it was in the first person, talking about a rivalry between gold dealers. And the gold dealer he's referenced, people say it's Tamish Jagmohan, right? And the fact that Bascom was moonlighting for Tamish Jagmohan, you know, it's like working for him while being a police officer, and it seemed to be allowed. So there is that angle, and seemed to be saying that it is Jagmohan who is kind of setting this up for him to fall because he's rivaling gold dealers. The other person who was mentioned there too is Roger Khan, because of course Ricardo Fagundes, who is the person who was killed, is a friend of Roger Khan. Well, in the press conference on Friday, folks, Jack and the friends them followed because he came out swinging against Jack Mohan, he came out swinging against Roger Khan. Mind you, it is the same Jack Mohan who was ferrying around the US ambassador on election day, and also the EU ambassador, who is also apparently on investigation, Jack Mohan, that is by US authorities. That's the allegation that's out there. So it's one big cook-up show. Jagdio came out swinging against Jack Mohan, swinging against Roger Khan, swinging against, who was the other fellow? So much of them. Ashruddin Mohammed. By name, he said, y'all were making money when we the campaigning. So me losing sleep over y'all, right? If you do foolishness, you must face the benefit of the law. Y'all ain't going to scandal the PPP name. This is Jagdio. Mr. Sugate himself.
Solly,
right? You're not Solly. Solly, you understand me? Solly, the name of the PPP. Folks, don't take it from me, right? Don't take it from me. Here's the fellow himself when posed with that question, right? He said, these fellas here, if they're involved in illegality, they must be prosecuted, you know. Quite an interesting bit that came out of it. Take a listen, folks. Take a listen.
I know the president will speak on this matter, so I did not want to be preemptive. And I know he has a strong view on this issue. So I spoke with him about this matter a few days now. And he has made it clear he is given direction to the police force to have a full and complete investigation and with external support. And so he will speak a bit more about that issue once he returns. So I've been asked my personal views on this matter many times, and I think a lot of people have been trying to get a feeling as to what our thinking is. So I'm General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party. And there is one thing that the People's Progressive Party will not let happen, it is to have its reputation sullied by any individual. We understand that the opposition, which has an agenda, will try to always do that with the People's Progressive Party. But barring from what you will hear, the shrill noise out of Congress Place, for us, the public domain and public opinion and the opinion of people matter. And I want to say to them this today. When we campaign for re-election, I met with people from all walks of life and every race who had grave concerns about what APNO was doing. People were losing jobs. They said to me money was not circulating in the economy, had major problems with the issues, basic issues like aloofness and licensing fee and being discriminated against. And we made a promise to all of those people. When we return to office, we will address their concerns. People of every race. Tamesh Jagmohan, Azruddin Mohammed, and Roger Khan. Roger Khan was abroad, and the two others were busy making money too. They were working, making money. Their concerns do not preoccupy me at night. Their concerns, the concerns of ordinary people and the people we looked at in their faces, people of every race, every walk of life, those are the ones that drive us to work hard every single day to change this country, not the concerns of these individuals. The People's Progressive Party will not condone any illegal act on the part of any of those individuals that I mentioned, or others for that matter. People have to face consequences for their action, whatever their action is. And that is where we stand today. And you heard, I told you what the president said. There shall be a full and complete investigation. He's giving directions and with external support. And some practices may have to change. Yes, when I listened to the commissioner of police about Bascom, and they were talking about who he...
Take it, Rita.
The man said,
where do you start there?
You know,
where do you start?
You know the problem that I have right now. I'm trying to separate my strong, solid views that I know for and the things that I know in my heart, in my soul, from what I can say here, you know, and get away with.
Yeah. I want this parliament. Who's sharing the live? Smash the emoji button. I want you capture it to say. Share it far away.
Listen to me. The first thing, there's no good repetition. Let's put it. The people have no good repetition. That could be solid.
Especially with him there. Especially.
We just came out of Sugate. Well, there is Sugate. That just came out. There is Sugate.
He's the center. And he talking about Roger Khan, Azruddin Mohammed.
No, the man said Roger Khan was overseas.
Yes. What are you for myself? That's what you call being in jail. Rikers Island. You overseas.
Roger Khan was overseas. Nevertheless, whilst Roger Khan was overseas now, Thomas Jagmahan and Azudin Mohammed was here making money.
Yeah.
They were here making money, and they're not going to. So their concerns.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect him. It doesn't bother him. People, we're at a different level when the vice president comes out and says certain
Start
things,
lashing,
right?
answering and
Right.
lashing.
I did note also that he said that Irfan instructed that a full investigation.
That's the secret.
That is my point.
Before
That is
Irfan
my
left,
point.
he didn't see the letter yet from Nigel News and them. He didn't
When
know too
did
much
this
about this
instruction
thing.
go
Yeah,
out?
when?
This was a WhatsApp,
Yeah,
you know.
and he's a man to be overseas. He be very focused. He don't take briefing from home. So I don't. It's very interesting. It's a whole cook-up show, folks. This
No,
is
but
cook-up.
did he say Irfan or he said the president?
Whichever.
Because Mark was actually at the president.
Wasn't Irfan?
I just told you that there are certain things I'm going to filter. What I will say
I don't know.
and what I will not say when it comes to this particular matter. Because guys, listen, you know what goes on. You know prior to 2015 who were friends with who.
Yeah.
You know,
I said Roger
after that period,
see
who
Roger
else
Can
is friend with who?
and
I don't have to
Jagmeo
tell you.
at
You know
inauguration
it.
in a photograph hugging up.
Again,
Of
I'm going
Irfan
to
Ali.
say, when it comes to who is friend with who, you know who
I think
Jagmeo
Jagmeo
is
give them a
friends with,
call,
and you
and
know
Jagmeo
who
say,
Irfan is friends
listen.
with. Come on, let's be real here.
I think Jagmeo give them a call before and say, listen, I got to come with hard against you, right?
No,
Don't take it
no,
personal.
no.
How do you think it went down?
I don't believe
Uh-huh.
that. I don't believe that.
So you think
I don't believe
there's no warring faction and he
That's what it is.
his
That's what
interest.
it
He
is.
got safeguard people because that way he's
This
making
is nothing
money.
to do with PVP.
Here on the government side.
This is nothing to do with PVP.
Mhm.
Nobody is safeguarding your PVP.
Mhm.
Let's just put that one side.
Mhm.
But when it comes to the individuals, the characters at play, they are aligned to different factions of the PVP administration. Let's just make that very clear.
So answer in the
Right?
Sue boy.
Well, you guys decide, you know.
Right?
Y'all
And
not gonna
Tamishwar is
put
Sue
me.
boy.
Y'all not gonna put
Right?
me
It
in
was
no
interesting
set.
though to see Tamishwar flying around the ambassadors, you know, and to see this big war. This is playing out in real time. I love it. I love it. I love it. Gives us content every day. See, I'll continue.
But when it comes to when it comes to everything between Bacchus and what Bascom said and all of that, that's a different level. Because from where I'm sitting, I don't know about anybody else. Everybody's trying to say, oh well, who's cooperating with Story and all of that. But from where I'm sitting, I'm questioning like what is the incentive that is driving people to come forward? I know Bacchus came forward and he said a lot. And I did know that he said that, you know, he don't thief and whatever, he's gonna hustle and get his stuff done and all of that. And I know that that he was labeled as an informant by Bascom and so forth. I'm wondering now, from where I'm sitting, it seems like that is a motive and an incentive for him to come out and clear certain areas, because this, for me, it seems more the chaos and the backlash and all of that seems more of what goes on the streets and in a different world, as opposed to what is reported and so forth in the press. And that it's a different tier of happenings, to put it mildly.
But what's interesting to hear Mr. Jagger say that Tamishwar, for instance, would not be allowed to sully the name of the PPP because and Asruddin and Rashid Khan. Hold on. Let me come to a conclusion here.
Go ahead.
That you will not be allowed to sully the name of the PPP.
So they're PVP members?
Hold on.
I don't know.
Because they did not go in the street and think vote. But isn't Tamishwar a financier of the PPP?
I don't know.
So you're
But
not
as a general secretary, BJ would have to say whether or not he is. But what I did note is that when he said that, it gives the impression that he's claiming these individuals
they're
as
PPP.
being that is the impression that he's giving out. He's claiming them, but he's not going to allow them. But he said that he met with person, because I don't know how the opposition reached in that mix, right? But he dragged the opposition in. Man said, that's
against the ropes. You got to hold on for the opponent. You're against the ropes.
So the man said that he was speaking to people that were complaining and so hardship and all that. But then he came back with the same breath and said, and then he said Tamish and as they was making money.
This
they had hardship, but they were making money in that period.
Yeah, so the election they were making money.
They weren't making enough money then.
But
I guess
what struck me, if you go through that list, you would think the new AFC still in power. Because if you talk about cost of living Like what has happened since? It is worse. He had a point. Money didn't circulate. It's like we still in power. Huh? Grace, how you doing at Sugar Line Drive there? You know, but we still in power. And you go through that list. If he is to be believed,
what he just spoke about,
this,
discrimination,
that, right? Discrimination.
This man bold,
right?
This man bold. I'm telling you, bold. This man's a discrimination. Like seriously, come on,
using the balls for something.
Oh my goodness, he's bold when he spoke about this.
Finally.
Wow. But I think the real test of what is going on, this is way beyond
boldness.
Just what's on the surface. Obviously, that's that's clear.
Who knew?
It's going to be a test.
You couldn't write this
test of who have the most power.
The
who
most
actually exert the power when it comes to the PP administration. Because guys, I'm telling you. Who is not friend with one person is friend with the other one.
He is instructed in front
let us see who got the more powerful friend in this. Because that's what's coming to the corruption.
But you couldn't script this thing better. You couldn't.
You couldn't make it up.
No. Not link show. Nothing to laugh about. Where you got Bascom, you got Bacchus, you got Tamishwar, you got Asruddin, you got Roger Khan.
Master Raj,
I want Vice News come back.
Overseas. I'm like, what?
I want Vice News come back. You know, and here was a man defense. Oh, they talking about Vice News. Patterson get the money from some Chinese company, something. He's not refuted Vice News. They want to talk about Vice News and he's throwing out that little red meat there. But the journal was how the press conference started. The journal as how the press conference started.
Was a starter.
Yes. The man said there are a lot of things in the news.
Yeah.
Right. There are a lot of things in the news right now. That's what we started press conference. The most important of which is local government election. And the man talking about aloofness. The man crediting the opposition with aloofness. A lot of things in the news right now. The most important of which is local government elections. Yeah. I can see how they're keeping you up at nights. you know. The bishop was a prophet. The bishop is a prophet. Because the bishops came in, the government talking about sleepless nights. You didn't know what the PPP. Sleepless nights for them, boy. It's what's going to break tomorrow. Oh, Father. Discrimination. They had discrimination. Apparently, it's still in power. 2 years and it's weirdo, you know? Right? Weird is just as weirdo. Right? So Greg Jai said, go and take the oath, boy. Or Harman or Aubrey. Take the oath.
He said that Ali is going to be speaking on the matter. He's going to be making some statements on the matter. When that's all I'm wondering.
Something as major as this, Ali's ordering external help is external to Georgetown. I don't know. That is major if it's international help. But we hear about that yet. It comes through BJ. I've spoken to him.
My goodness.
Yeah.
You tell us.
Cook up.
You tell us where you see this going. You tell us where you see this going.
Cook up.
It's crazy because I do note, I did note for one thing, I did note the picking of words and the cautiousness that he when he spoke about the whole Bascom allegations. I did note his cautiousness there. One for dollar. You know, you're picking your words very carefully as you go down the line. So I didn't know that. But again, we do know is that the country is small. We have less than 1 million people. Everybody know everybody business. That's just a sad part of what it is. Sad and good part too. Yeah. But everybody knows. I say, you know, a lot of people trying to keep themselves out of this whole mud fest.
Impossible.
That's what
it is. What is
going on right now.
It is what it is.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I think, like you said, Starbucks News didn't take it lightly.
Corruption scandals. I just waited for the next episode.
Starbucks
right? This is like when Game of Thrones was at the height. You're just waiting for the next episode. You know, the next thing is Red Wedding. You know, imagine I'll be locked in a room. You know, survival of the fittest. That's the name of the game. Survival of the fittest. This is paid for view. You understand me? I want Vice News come back and do something here for us. You know?
My goodness.
Do something here for us. We got a lot of things here, folks. Right? A lot of things.
Kim Walk, I believe.
Follow the money. Follow the money. Wait for the next episode, folks, and we can keep you guys posted how things progress. This is Bascom, Bacchus, Guyana Police Force, and everybody else in between. right? You got some Sue in there.
I just know
You got
those
doing
guys
there.
couldn't be
Yeah,
completed.
there's more. There's
and
more. Watch
making
and
money
see.
at the same time.
Watch and see.
They could not have been
Right?
completed and
There is
making money.
more. There is more. Watch and see. There is more. Right? There is more. This is Ghana. There is more.
Oh, beautiful day.
Watch and see. Brace yourself.
Oh, my lovely native land.
Yeah, yeah. More dear to me. It's the greatest country on earth. I ain't care what anybody's giving away. I like it right here. Outside there, I ain't care what they're giving away. You understand me? Right? Jack Dion Sugate needs some external help to that investigation.
I think so too. Like,
Right? That one needs some external help, you know. But we can watch and see. Right? Folks, thanks for joining us. Do
Thank you
remember
so
to
much for
partner
joining
with
us.
us, guys. Partner with us so we can continue keeping on. You all know we're available by Cash App and Zelle and PayPal, MMG, MoneyGram, Western Union, all for your convenience. Partner with us. You guys keep the program with every morning we're on because of you. Thanks for staying with us this hour.
Lyndon Jones said it best.
Yep.
Official foolishness.
Official foolishness. Go ahead and have a great day, folks. Go ahead and be great.
Go forth and be great.
Yeah, yeah. That's it for tomorrow.
Have a good day, guys. Be
Have
sure
a
to
great
join
day.
the other programs. Be safe, be safe, be safe. Love you all. Have a good day. Bye.